How do you paint a picture without actually telling what you're painting? Like, how do you give a description without actually telling somebody, look at what I'm describing? Welcome to Show, Don't Tell. In a previous class, I've already told you that you can write a screenplay without dialogues. It is very, very possible. As screenwriters, you play more in your action line space, you play more in your description space, you play more using your parentheticals, you play more to like make your story very visual so that anybody that is reading it or anybody that is even watching without sound, without audio, will know, okay, this is actually what we are talking about. This is actually what we are painting. Let's take, for instance, it's a windy day and Kunle goes out. He's coming back and you see him coming back with the umbrella in disarray. And you be like, oh, today is a windy day. Yes, we know it's a windy day. We've seen that it's a windy day. Suppose you don't have any equipment or any instruments on set to show us that it was a windy day. How do you put it in dialogue? How do you describe it in your action line? You can say, oh, as he was coming back, his umbrella was bent out of shape. We have seen, yes, it's a windy day. His umbrella was bent out of shape. Oh, how can you tell that something is funny to your character? You can say, Nne laughed. She was laughing. No. You can say, oh, after this person said this, that Nne bent down in hysterics. Bending down in hysterics shows us that that thing was so funny and the person was laughing. Now, let's look at other examples of show, don't tell, and we'll come back to tell you how to incorporate it in your own story. Instead of saying the castle was captured or the town was captured, you can say a new flag was hoisted on the gates in the entrance of the castle and people were cheering the new government. Yes. Instead of saying that the man was stressed, you can say the man was fidgeting and biting his nails. We are not in the head of the person. The only way that you can tell that somebody is stressed is to show what they are doing at a particular point in time. So instead of saying, the man was stressed, he's fidgeting, he's biting his nails, he's sweating, breaking out in sweat. Yes, those are signs. Those are how you show that the person is stressed without actually telling us that the person is stressed. So saying the room was messy, you can say there was a leftover of pizza and dirty clothes that was strewn over the room. The room was messy. We want to see the extent of messiness. We want to visualize it in our head. We want to just know we are seeing your script, we are seeing your story, and we are watching even without sound. We are looking and saying the room was messy. We will say, okay, the room was messy. No, you should know how to describe things as a screenwriter. Like I said in the earlier video, I know that a lot of you will be like, no, just show us elements of a screenplay. But I tell you, when you know the basics, when you have a hold of these basics, writing your screenplay will be moi moi. You can write a 120-page screenplay in 4 days, in 1 week, and you won't even break a sweat. No, you will break a sweat because you sit for long hours, you also research and do anything, but the flow will be so smooth. Writer's block will be off. You understand? So let's go ahead. The woman was confident. If you, instead of saying the woman was confident, you can say she strode into the room in elegance. She strode into the room and everyone turned to look at her. The boy was careful. You can say he placed the cup in top of the drawer of his closet. He placed the cup because, okay, he was careful. He was careful with it. Did he place it on the ground? How was he careful with it? To what extent was he careful with it? So that is just it. That's just the description. Let's still go ahead. The stadium was full. Instead of saying that the stadium was full, you can say the sound coming from the stadium was deafening. It was deafening. You know that it takes a whole lot, a sea of humans to be able to make a deafening sound. He was saying that we went to the stadium was, we were passing through the stadium and you see the stadium was full. No, the sound from the stadium was deafening. Instead of saying, okay, the sun is hot. Yes, we know that the sun is hot. To what extent is the sun hot? And say, the sun caused my skin to have some burns. So we now know the extent to which the sun is hot, because in me that is melaninated and somebody that is not melaninated, the extent, as in our description of hotness of the sun, is very, very different. Very different. So when you say the sun is hot, the sun is hot to what extent? That the butter that you took, that you were taking to Mama Caro, they say melted on the road. The butter you was taking to Mama Caro melted in its bag. You get? That is the extent to which the sun is hot. So I would like you to go over this video again. Settle down, write it. I know you have a note. You have a note. Write it down. Write it in your swipe files so that when you are describing, it is sweet, it is easy, it is flowing, and I hope you turn out to be a very brilliant screenwriter. So next up is dialogue, the art of dialogues, and everything about dialogues.